In today's video, a huge rumor is currently flying around because word on the street, Apple bought about $2.5 billion worth of Bitcoin. Is this really true? Now on to the next headline, crypto trading volume has plummeted, but what really caused this? And finally, how important is the Lightning Network? When can we see this fully scale? A bunch more news coming right up. Welcome back everyone, I'm your host Edward, and on this channel I talk about stocks and crypto news, so if that's something you're interested in, feel free to subscribe and hit that like button down below for the YouTube algorithm. And yeah, let's not waste any more time and dive right in. So as usual, I'm just gonna go through the markets, and today the stock market is flat once again. The Dow Jones pretty flat. The Nasdaq is up a bit, as well as the S&P 500. Now in terms of the crypto market, it is bleeding heavily today. We can see that Ethereum is down about 6% today, and Bitcoin is down about 3%. But yeah, if we look at the short-term charts, we can see that, we're not in a bull or a bear market. We're more in like a crab market where it's just sideways trading. But yeah, I think we're just waiting for a huge confirmation in the trading patterns before the volume picks up again. But the main article that I want to get into today is that there's rumors right now all over Twitter saying that Apple bought about $2.5 billion worth of Bitcoin. But yeah, everyone was anticipating Apple to confirm this yesterday, but no news actually came out. But 2 months ago, we did see Apple put a job posting for a business development manager dealing with alternative payments, and in the description it said the person must have at least 5+ years of working experience with alternative payment providers such as digital wallets, BNPL, fast payments, and cryptocurrency. So it kind of shows that Apple is heading towards the cryptocurrency space. And in my opinion, I think Apple is the perfect company to kind of, adopt Bitcoin. Because for those that don't know, when Steve Jobs was kind of running Apple, their mission and purpose is to challenge the status quo. So we saw that with computers, iPods, and also the iPhone. But after Tim Cook took over, there hasn't been any innovation in my opinion. There's just been a lot of extra features in their products, but nothing revolutionary. So the vision of the company kind of blurred out in my opinion. And the only thing I can see them challenging is the health industry, especially with the Apple Watch and etc. But if Apple wants to challenge the status quo of the banking industry, I would say Bitcoin is the perfect opportunity. Right now, there's an estimate of about 1 billion people using iPhones all over the world, and this will be a really huge catalyst for Bitcoin as well as the future of cryptocurrencies. And I'm very excited because Bitcoin itself is very secured, but what's not secured about Bitcoins in my opinion are the third parties. But if Apple is able to solve this issue, especially with the amount of people using their products, I won't be surprised if the volume, demand, and the price of Bitcoin goes up. But yeah, in this article, it also talked about if Bitcoin is too controversial for Apple. And the thing is, in the past, Apple has been very controversial, especially with their advertisements, the design, and the products. And that's what it meant to Apple as challenging the status quo. But yeah, recently Apple has been kind of protecting that brand image. But yeah, over here, I really agree with it, right? Apple don't do anything controversial because they are brand conscious. But I do agree that it is a rebellious move. And in the past, Apple was known as the rebellious company. But yeah, I'm interested to see if they actually bought $2.5 billion of Bitcoin in the next, earnings call. But yeah, as an Apple fanboy myself, I am very excited. I think this will be one of the next revenue streams that Apple can kind of take in to become a $10 trillion company. But yeah, that's my hot take on it. So next article, it seems like, the trading volume has plunged for cryptocurrencies, especially Bitcoin. Looking at the key points, it seems like 40% of trading volumes decreased in June, and it also looks like the price of Bitcoin followed it. There can be many reasons why, Bitcoin's volume decreased, but I think the main one is the China FUD, because a couple of weeks ago, we saw a huge crackdown on crypto in China, so no one can really mine Bitcoin anymore, and all of them are currently, moving to America. So last month, we saw about $50 million worth of volume, and fast forward to today, we're only seeing about, $20 million worth of volume every day. So as an investor, it just tells me that that the demand has decreased in the short term, but it doesn't worry me in the long term, because if we kind of zoom out, you have to look at the long-term potential. And I think that anytime anyone gets scared or panic, I think they should just zoom out and look at the chart, because we don't know what will happen in the next decade. But as long as you just hold and believe in the fundamentals, I think that's fine. Next on the news, I saw an article about the Lightning Network, and I just want to quickly kind of, explain it to everybody, especially my audience. I'm not going to go too deep into it, but essentially the Lightning Network allows users to kind of make transactions off the chain, because for those that don't know, Bitcoin can only handle 7 transactions per second, while credit card companies can process about 60,000 transactions per second. But the Lightning Network will allow 2 users to create a payment channel together, and that way the transaction will be way quicker and everything will be done off the chain. But once the payment channel closes, then that's 1 transaction on the blockchain. Hope that didn't confuse you, but I highly recommend you to kind of do your research on it. But I do feel like by 2031 this will be the future, and the problem right now is the scalability. But yeah, while reading this article, I saw this interesting tweet, and pretty much this is the purpose of Bitcoin, right? It says, I'm not spending my life so that billionaires can manipulate things or so that rich people can get richer, because the purpose of Bitcoin is to make the poor get richer. It's the other way around. And I found it such a coincidence that Bitcoin was created after the financial crisis. I just feel like Satoshi Nakamoto already saw this coming. I just feel like that was such a perfect timing. But yeah, the Lightning Network will solve every issue that's wrong with layer 1, because the 2 main issues in my opinion with layer 1 is that it's too slow and it's too expensive because of all the fees that Bitcoin miners are kind of gobbling up. So yeah, that's just my quick take on this. So in the next article, it seems like the CPI has increased again to 5.4%, which is the biggest monthly gain since August 2008. So is this really hinting on another financial crisis? I don't know. But in a real life situation, I feel like the CPI is not really accurate. I feel like inflation is way higher, but I feel like inflation is different for everyone because they spend money on different things, and the CPI is just an average. In my real life example, right, like yesterday I bought chicken nuggets, and what I noticed was that the nuggets were actually smaller than they used to be. So it's either that I'm getting bigger and I'm getting delusional, or these companies are trying to cut costs, and I'm betting on the second point, not the first point. And in Canada, we have something called the Grand Big Mac, and I feel like the size of that Big Mac was the same as 10 years ago, and some people might not even notice the change because it's so minuscule, but on a larger scale it saves the company a lot of money. But yeah, in the end, it's not good news at all. And next up, it seems like JP Morgan's profits doubled but their revenue fell, and I wanted to touch base on this because I'm bullish on fintech. And looking down here, it seems like they lost a lot of money in their corporate and investment banking, but their consumer banking only increased about 3%. Because flipping to Hypercharts, we can see that Square's monthly active users for Cash App has been increasing at a 40% compounded annual growth rate. These big banks are pretty much in trouble, in my opinion. But yeah, I didn't want to go too deep into this. But yeah, I'm just giving you my thoughts on the next trend, and I believe fintech will be it. But going back to the first article that I was talking about, I think Apple is seeing the trend where Bitcoin is being adopted year over year at a really high compounded annual growth rate, which is a great reason why they're probably going to get into Bitcoin. And look at the amount of revenue that, Square produced, which is about $4.5 billion, and this is just strictly fees that they're collecting on their users. Next up, not gonna dive too quick into this because I did mention this about a week ago, but the G20 signs off on tax crackdown. But yeah, we're gonna see this finalized in October. But it seems like other countries like Ireland and Hungary don't like this because they do have a low tax system. But I'm just gonna say this quickly, but the government's appetite is increasing. And when I say appetite, I mean their spending problem, because first of all, they don't want to print any more money because they understand that it's not great for the economy. So now what they're doing is pretty much taking it from the rich, which will have a domino effect because shareholders will be gutted in the stomach. But yeah, I'm not a fan of taxes, and I don't think a lot of people are. So that's just my quick take. So I'm gonna end it off with the personal finance article, and this person said that if you make $70,000, you can retire in 10 years. Here's how. So this person said to make it happen, you have to be willing to, consistently save 50 to 70% of your income, and it may require a huge major overhaul on your lifestyle. But I really like this quote where he says the most important thing is to realize that saving is not a sacrifice, it's an opportunity. So the first point is to cut your housing expenses, because for many people out there, the rent and the mortgage are the biggest expenses. And he says that, you should try to cut it as much as you can, get some roommates or do the house hack. But from this point, I would say kind of live that minimalistic lifestyle where you only buy things that you really need in order to survive. I know there's a lot of people out there that have a lot of wants, like buying Gucci bags, LV wallets, and etc. But at the end of the day, no one really cares, and that's the sad truth. So people buying all these things to impress other people is a waste of time, right? Second, he said to try to start a side hustle where you can kind of, make extra money and kind of use that cash to put it into work so that the money can make you more money. But yeah, I agree with this. I'm currently doing a side hustle myself, like this YouTube channel. I do have like a full-time job. And lastly, just stick with it, right? Be consistent. And I think this is the hardest part for a lot of people out there because they're kind of adjusting themselves to something they're not used to. But yeah, in his example, he sees a lot of people getting really excited and they're all pumped up about it. But then when you check back in with them like 90 days later, they're not doing it anymore. But yeah, I used to be this person. But yeah, I think it's more a mentality thing, because if you really want it, you have to remind yourself that you have to be consistent and just stick with it. That wraps up for this video. If you're interested in buying crypto, please head into my referral links in the description box down below so we can both get a small cash bonus once you sign up and make some trades. If you enjoyed this video, please smash that like button down below for the YouTube algorithm. And if you haven't already, feel free to subscribe and hit that bell notification so you can see my videos every single week. That's pretty much it. I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.